Time to Talk Tuesday, where your local realtor, Antonio Newton, discusses the local market and common issues, providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners.
Hi, my name is Antonio Newton, your local realtor with the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, and welcome to today's episode of Time to Talk Tuesday. Today we're discussing how lenders view tip income. As some of you may know, before becoming a real estate agent, I was in the service industry. Matter of fact, one of my regulars paid for me to get my real estate license, which is how I got into this career. I worked at Old Charlie's off of 378. I worked at Arizona's, which was in Sand Hills. I worked at Stonefire, which was off of Spears Creek Church Road, right below my office. I worked at Carolina Wings, Fuddruckers. I worked at lots and lots of restaurants, Longhorns, Blue Marlin. But I say all that to say I was talking with a previous coworker, and they were interested in buying a home. And that's what prompted me to do this video on tip income and how lenders look at it. Because you work in the service industry, because you get paid off of tips, that doesn't mean that you can't buy a home. But there are certain things that we got to make sure you do so that you look strong financially to a lender and you have a great financial profile where you can get qualified for a mortgage. So that's what we're discussing in today's episode of Time to Talk Tuesday. Before we dive into today's episode, please remember that you can catch all of our video content on our YouTube channel at Antonio Newton Realtor, the Newton Group. There you'll find our Time to Talk Tuesdays. You'll find our monthly market stats. You'll also find our After Coffee, our interview series, as long as other video content as well. And then don't forget to connect with us on Facebook as well as other social media sites as well. And make sure if you're watching this on YouTube that you click subscribe and hit that bell so that way you get notified of all our video content. And remember, you can always you can share this to a friend, comment. If there's something that you want us to discuss specifically, let us know. You can text it, email it, so that way we can do a video specifically for you on your topic. But let's dive right in. How do lenders view tip income? Well, as you know, that tips are oftentimes received by the recipient. They will be either cash tips or credit card tips. So it is on that recipient to make sure that they report that, because oftentimes they don't. And in that case, it can't be accounted for. And anything that's going to be a part of your financial profile or that's going to be qualified for a mortgage is going to have to be accounted for and reported and verified. So when it comes to doing that, accounting for it means that tips need to be deposited into a bank account on a regular basis, so that way they can keep track of it. And it's also a good idea that you personally keep track of it. So what some people suggest is every Monday or every Friday, take all your tips that you have and deposit them. So not only do you have the deposit slip, but then you also have a track record of these weekly deposits that you made of your tip income that you can use as verification. And then also, like I said, with the written copy or report of your income, you can also use that as verification. Now, as we know, as I know from being a server, you still get paid a check. You know, as a waiter, I got $215, but most of that is just taxes. And a lot of times servers don't report their income, don't report the tips on a nightly basis. So the checks are just generally for your hourly rate and they don't include your tip income. So the employer doesn't know. So by making consistent regular deposits, then you're getting that verified. But you also got to take another step because they're going to want to see a track record of that. So normally to apply for a loan, you need, if you're a W-2 employee, you need a W-2. You need 2 years of W-2, 2 years of tax return, and 2 months worth of bank statement. So this also goes for 1099 employees as well as tip employees. They're going to need to see a constant track record of that income. So you can't just keep it for 3 months or for 6 months. They're normally going to want to see 2 years of tax returns where this tip money has been reported, has been claimed, has been verified. because that way they know that they'll have confidence that that income will continue into the future, because they're giving you a loan based off of that income being able to be continued. So they want to see a 2-year track record of it. So not only will you need the bank statements to show these deposits, but they're also going to need to be on your tax return. You're going to need to claim that money on your tax return, as well as for 1099 employees. Now, with 1099 employees, just a little side note, if you have this money and you write it all off, they're just going to go off of what you're taxed at, not your income. So this income, like I said, needs to be reported to the IRS, because lenders are going to use that when qualifying you. And the final verification needs to be, the final verification of that in order to get a mortgage is going to be very important. So if they don't show up on your tax return, even though you have a personal record, even though you've been making monthly deposits, you're not going to be able to use that, because that's not taxable income. So I hope this helps. And remember, mortgage professionals need to document this. It's important, all because a lot of tips are cash, but it's important that it be documented so that way it can be verified. So can you buy a house working off of tip income? You certainly can. But it's on you as the recipient to take the next step and to report this income not only on your federal tax returns each year, but also to make sure you keep a track record of it that can be verified as proof and evidence to a financial lender. And if you do that, then we can get you in a house. And we know that oftentimes tips, you make a good amount of money, so the income is there. If you be responsible with your debts, then you can keep a low DTI, debt to income ratio, and you can meet all of the qualifications needed to purchase a home. But the biggest hurdle is going to be making sure, and it's really not that big of a deal, just to report your income, to make sure that you are putting it in a bank account. And it may even help in how you spend your money. Because from being a server, I know it's easy when you got that cash in your hand just to, well, I'll make it back the next day. Or I need this. But if you got a report and if you got a goal that you're trying to attain, why not work for that goal? So we're at the beginning of 2022. So you can you're going to soon file your taxes. So you can report some income from last year, and then you can make a record of it starting this year. And in 2023, maybe 2024, you'll be able to purchase a home. But as you know, time flies. So the sooner we start this process, the better off and the closer you get to owning your own home. So I hope this helps for all my people in the service industry and all those who work off of tips. And if you got any additional questions, don't hesitate. Reach out to me, 803-608-2597. I know that space very well. Once again, I was a server for many years prior to getting into real estate. And even once I got my license, I still worked both jobs until I was able to transfer full-time into real estate. So once again, this is Antonio Newton with the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, and thank you for watching. Stay safe.
This episode of Time to Talk Tuesday was brought to you by the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, where nothing works until we do. Look for our episodes every Tuesday where Antonio Newton discusses the local market and common issues while providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners. If you'd like to reach out to us, we can be reached online and on land at area code 803-608-2597. So until next time, here's wishing you all fair winds, following seas, and gentle tides.